Hello everyone, let's talk about Year 2 Volume 4.5. As much as I would like to talk all about it, I can't, otherwise the video would be I don't know how long. So let's talk about all the important scenes and some little foreshadowing for future events and some of my theories. First of all, nothing pleases my heart more than knowing that Yagami was the White Room student. And you will know if you have watched my previous videos. In those videos, I told that for some reason I had a big suspicion of him. I discussed my theory that the moment he appeared and it was told that he was Kushida's junior, I instantly went, that is a thing what a White Room student would do. With theory being the White Room student knew the past of everyone, so he contacted Kushida, threatened her to reveal her past, and told her to play along. Because in that scene, Kushida recognized him, that means they did talk first, right? And that also explains why Kushida isn't worried now about expelling Ayanokoji and is only after Horikita. Also, it was basically confirmed in Year 2 Volume 4 when it was mentioned that Yagami broke his watch sometimes without any info on what he did. And by the way, I think the biggest hint was right under our nose. Like, do you guys know someone who is good at talking and communicating, has a charming personality, and is good at deceiving and share the surname Yagami? Yeah, I think we all do. See the foreshadowing here? Now let's go step by step in order of the events. So in the beginning we had a meeting with Kiriyama, who I think Ayanokoji didn't trust at all from the start. And it seems he is on the side of Nagumo because he can't do anything against him, but that said, he is still doing things without telling him, like the meeting with Ayanokoji. So you can say he's just with Nagumo for the benefit and not totally devoted to him. Now we come to the strategy of Nagumo, which at first seems simple but is a troublesome one. As Kiryuin said, for a person like Ayanokoji, this strategy is troublesome, and indeed we saw this in the whole volume where Ayanokoji acknowledged it. This not only gives Nagumo information about him but also about his friends and people he cares about. And the whole volume I was wondering, like, everyone he's spending time with on the ship can end up being targeted by Nagumo and the third years. So what's he thinking? They might get expelled. And I think that's the point of the strategy, to find as much info as they can and then use it against him. And I don't know if it will continue at the school too, but I guess maybe Nagumo has something else for school. I don't think it will continue, but it can. And now we can say that Ayanokoji has no one in the third grade for info, or you can say someone that he can count on. Kirwin might help, but since she said she wouldn't, Ayanokoji isn't going to ask her, and it's not like Ayanokoji desperately needs anyone, but info is always good. Anyway, the next thing I was interested in was Sakayanagi making rivals with Amasawa. I mean, the match between them, if it happens, would be amazing because we all know Ayanokoji would be winning in a match with anyone, but in this matchup, we genuinely don't know who will win or lose. Amasawa was considered best enough to bring to the school to expel Ayanokoji. With that said, Sakayanagi isn't also an ordinary person, so that match would be hype. We all saw Sakayanagi outsmarting Tsubaki, and she seems like a natural genius like her. And I would also like for them to have a rematch. By the way, we still don't know what's the deal with Tsubaki. She tried to self destruct herself while asking Ayanokoji in Year 2 Volume 1 for the exam, and she's not even a White Room student. Still, she risked her expulsion. And what is she getting? If she gets expelled, it's not like 20 million points would be anything to her. I mean, what's her motivation for all of this? We don't know about her past or anything, and I hope we get to know that in the future because I think that would be interesting. And if we keep this scene aside, the scene I want to talk about is Ayanokoji and Kushida scene, which I think is important even if it doesn't look like it, because I think it's a little foreshadowing. So while I was reading it, let me guide you through my thought process. Why would Ayanokoji give Kushida his extra points for seemingly no reason? That was the question that came to my mind first. Like, Ayanokoji doesn't do things without any reason. So, what does he want? Let's try to answer this by what we know. First, he made sure that the conversation isn't being recorded. And that is important because it means he's definitely going to use this and all other payment transfers against her. How did I come to that conclusion? Well, if you think about it, then you will notice that Ayanokoji doesn't have anything to his advantage in these transactions except the transaction history. He isn't gaining anything else. And from now on, it might seem like a guess, but I think in the future, if Kushida tries to do something, like right now, I can't guess what that something might be, but Ayanokoji in the future can like sort of make an appeal to the school that she's blackmailing him and prove the fact by showing the transfer and saying that he even transferred his winnings in an event because she demanded or something similar to it. You get the point, right? It's not like exactly what I'm saying, but transaction but what I want to say is like transaction history is going to play a role. That's why he didn't wanted any conversation to be recorded and wanted to transfer her the points. I don't know if that fingerprint thing is still in play, but maybe it's an insurance by Ayanokoji if Kushida tries to do anything. Kushida doesn't have any proof whatsoever about why Ayanokoji is sending her money, and she can't even tell anyone, even if asked, because revealing her past is the last thing she wants. Now you might be thinking, what would Ayanokoji say about Kushida blackmailing him or stuff? And to that, I would say it could be a situation in the future that we don't know about, or a previous one. Feel free to guess in the comments. Another scene is between Kushida and Horikita, where Kushida said she wanted to expel Yagami. I mean, she's acting because she was definitely following his orders on the uninhabited island exam, and from that, it's clear that the stuff she was telling Horikita that Yagami is in love is just not true. And if she's in a delusion, that is bad for her. She wouldn't be able to expel anyone from the school. Instead, I have some suspicion that she might be the next student to get expelled in that special exam that caused Chabashira sensei her class. And not gonna lie, I'm super hyped for this next exam. I'm just curious. I mean, it would be great to see their past and what happened and how the second years are gonna deal with it. With that said, let's try to understand the structure of the exam. And from this point, it's much more of a speculation than trying to find hints and guessing. So take everything what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. So to start, let's think of the things we know about the exam. First, according to the discussion between the teachers, this exam is sort of like the class poll exam, with the class poll exam being a substitute for it, meaning expulsion is on the line, which means this exam is gonna be worse and sort of destroy the class spirit. From this, we can pretty much guess that it's not going to be an exam where the class acts together, meaning this would be a type of an individual exam, which explains why Chabashira sensei was blamed when she made the wrong choice. Also, we know that one wrong decision can cost you a lot, which also supports the fact that this can be an individual exam. By saying individual exam, I mean like the one in volume 4, but with expulsion. In a sense, like class can win together and get points for winning, but everyone is given different instructions, and it will be hard to trust your classmates about whether to tell or not. Which leads me to believe that in this special exam there might be different instructions to students from school. Now let me give you a situation. Now, what I'm about to say is just a wild guess to let you understand the situation. The exam obviously wouldn't be the same. Let's say everybody gets some instructions that they need to follow, and failing to do so will result in expulsion. So suppose Matsushita got the task to reach the class 30 minutes early every day till a week, which seems easy. And let's say on the other hand, Sato got the task which is to stop Matsushita from doing her task. Now Sato just can't go ahead and talk about this task to anyone because from the class point of view, Matsushita is more valuable than Sato. And the thing is, she doesn't know what Matsushita's task is, and no one is going to tell each other their task. So she has 1 week to stop her and figure out what her task is, otherwise, she gets expelled. Now, this is a wide assumption. Obviously, the exam isn't going to be this, but this might have given you a sort of idea of what exam could be like. It may even be worse, much worse. We know for sure that this exam is going to be work in a way that one student decision can cost a whole class, and from here the possibilities are a lot. But all in all, this exam is going to bring out the worst from the students, as said by Hoshinomiya Sensei. The worst. This statement makes me think Kushida is going to collapse in this exam, and maybe this might have something to do with her transactions with Ayanokoji, which Ayanokoji might use in the future in the exam. But I think for a lot of reasons that Kushida is going to collapse. The way exam is described, it feels like it. I just had a crazy thought that maybe, this is a crazy thought that if one expulsion is guaranteed, I don't know how much expulsion there will be, but if one is guaranteed, what do you think? What do you guys think are the chances that Koinji will deliberately sacrifice his protection points for the class? It's hard to imagine at first, but I think it's possible because he's given a protection point, and I don't know. I think he would do this, and everyone will think it is unintentional and something, but I think this is possible. Just came across my mind that Koinji would sacrifice his protection point, which seems like not possible at first, but let's see what happens. This is just a wild guess, a wild thought that came to my mind. And you can drop your assumptions about the special exam in the comments. Also, as only second year students will have this exam, interruption from Nagumo and Yagami are inevitable, which is going to add spice in this already spicy exam. And the fact that Kei and Ayanokoji will announce their relationship before the start of the exam is going to make it just the spiciest volume till now, in my opinion. We might see some actions by Hoshinomiya Sensei to crush Chabasira Sensei's class. You see, everything's coming together. The White Room student, the student council president, the teachers, and every enemy Ayanokoji could possibly have. That's about it for the exam. Now there were some more scenes like the Ichinose scene, and that was kind of sad. I really wanted to know how Ayanokoji would answer, but because of the interruption of Nagumo, that scene was almost sad. And now I hope that Ichinose grows, like she becomes better, because in the second year out of all the classes, Ichinose's class is the weakest at this point. So, they really need to improve if they want to be in the fight. And well, except that, also the scene with Kei when she calls Ayanokoji, that was like kind of an interesting and funny scene. Like when she asks him, does anything comes to mind? And he was like, is she talking about Sato or Matsushita or whom she's talking about? And he takes the decision to not tell her, and after that when she talks about Nanase, he was like, I was right not telling her about them. Otherwise it would have been more questions and questions. Like that was a funny scene. And I'm interesting to see the reactions when they will open their relationship. Especially Airi, though she might faint. And Haruka's reaction isn't going to be much, but Horikita's reaction, and then there's Sudo would be happy. That much I can say. Yeah. Sudo is going to be happy. Ike is going to be happy for Ayanokoji. Yep. More like surprised, not happy at first. But Hirata's reaction isn't going to be much, and other classmates are going to be surprised as well, because it's strange for Ayanokoji Kiyotaka and Kei Karuizawa to date, right? And I wonder what will Sakenagi's reaction would be, because I don't think she would expect something like this, but yeah, Sakenagi's reaction is going to be interesting. Ruin's reaction isn't going to be anything because he already knows about it. Nanase's reaction, I don't think so. Nanase's reaction is going to be anything special. And after Nanase, there's Amasawa. How would she be reacting? Not like in a surprise way. I mean, I can't imagine Amasawa reacting in a surprised way. So, after Amasawa, is there anyone else? Oh, yes, the reaction of Ichinose's classmates, because they don't know that, like, they don't know Ichinose confessed, but they know that Ichinose has feelings for Ayanokoji, so their reaction would be something. And we haven't seen Kanzaki at all. I know we saw him in 4.5 with Horikita, and it turns out he was making deals with the first years and stuff, but I mean, we haven't seen him playing a major role. And I think Kanzaki knows about the next special exam. Like Hoshinomiya sensei was telling him about the exam. It is quite possible if Chabashira tried. I mean, we don't know if she was going to tell full details of the exam, but it's quite possible that it's what I'm saying. It's not quite possible. I think it's definitely possible Hoshinomiya sensei told Kanzaki what the exam is about because she wants to win this exam and she wants to crush Chabashira sensei's class. So if Kanzaki knows about the exam, he had a slight advantage, and we'll see what he's going to do. And the deal Ruin makes with first year, I mean, that's kind of not expect. What do you say? Not expected. Yeah, I didn't expected Ruin to make deals to the first years before the exam began. But it seems Ruin is improving. Horigita is improving. Everyone's improving, except Ichinose, which she might be. Other than that, my review of the whole volume was that somehow this 4.5 volume felt like it contains like more things than the year 2 volume 4. Year 2 volume 4 was great. We got to see fight Sakuranagi versus Tsubaki, Ayanokoji versus Akshiro, but still, like all the content, or I can say the build up for the next volume in this volume was amazing. So just it felt like to me that it was more filled. I don't know what the right word, but it felt like it was more filled than year 2 volume 4. It doesn't mean that year 2 volume 4 was like bad, but both year 2 volume 4 was good, but it just felt great. And that piano scene seems like Ayanokoji wasn't kidding when he was saying he knows piano and calligraphy. That melody, Beethoven, that's a good one. I heard it on YouTube and I would recommend you to listen to it once. What more to say? This volume was just amazing. Every information we got, the foreshadowing, the build up for the next volume. Finally, the White Room student identity is revealed, and I want to see how Yagami is going to go against Ayanokoji. He more like wants a direct confrontation. He's leading Ruin and Horikita to himself, like he says, and then there will be one choice: Utomiya or Yagami. And I don't know what does he gonna do after they find that it was him. Like Kita is just going to ask questions and stuff, but Ruin is going to get violent. But I just want to see him go against Ayanokoji, and it doesn't seem like he will go all out against in this special exam since it's only for second year. He might do something, but I don't think he will go all out. The all out battle will be in the next special exam, which is going to be the sports festival. And we all know what will happen in the sports festival. Class A and D in one group and B and C in one group. If we see the current standing, like Sakunagi's class and D class, Ruin's class, they will be together, and Ayanokoji's class and Ichinose's class. But since there is one more special exam, the standings might change. But I think the standing of Ayanokoji's class is going to be D, because for Yagami to compete with Ayanokoji in the sports festival, they need to be in opposite classes. From opposite classes, I mean, like if Ayanokoji is in D class, Yagami needs to be in either B or C, not A, which he's already in B class. So that's why I'm thinking that the Ayanokoji's class will go to the D. And the reason being, one person will expelled. Like if in this special exam someone expelled, class will obviously lose 100 class points. So they will go to D, and when they go to the D class in the sports festival, their class will be against the first year B and C class, which means Ayanokoji would be against Yagami. And my already guess is that Kushida might get expelled. And since everyone knows Ayanokoji runs fast, he doesn't need to hold back any longer in the sports festival. Means we can see an all out between Ayanokoji and Yagami. It would be just interesting. And I know I haven't covered all the scenes, but we can discuss about some scenes in the comment section. If you think I missed some important scene, just write it down in the comment section. I will share my thoughts there and write down your assumptions and theories. So with that said, let's meet again in the next video.